In August 2008, Mark Curran spent 1 week in his own jail.
I checked myself into the Lake County Jail as an inmate.
My favorite week. All right, so Mark had gone to, I think it had to be August. He went to Willow Creek, has every year, a big conference, and Mark attended with, I think, Jennifer Witherspoon, who's his deputy in the jail. And he came back from that and he says, I'm spending a week in the jail. I go, excuse me? He goes, yeah, I'm going to go to jail for a week. And he had already started everything in motion in the car coming home. So I knew about it after it had been decided that he was going to do that. And I'm like, okay. And it was the first week of school. So, I'm trying to get the boys ready for school, and Mark's spending a week in jail.
I was at a leadership conference with him a couple years ago, and it was at that conference that he had that idea that he says it was maybe a divine inspiration, but I know he asked me about it near the end of the conference, and I thought to myself, oh boy, I don't think that's a good idea. And I said to him, Sheriff, are you sure you really want to go into the jail as an inmate and see what it's like? And he said, I think I do, Rick.
He's an unusual man. He spent that stint in the jail, in the county jail in Lake County. Some people thought this was a publicity stunt, but these are people that don't know Mark Curran. He actually has a concern for inmates. There's no doubt the guy will arrest people and put them in jail. But he is concerned about jail conditions. He wants to make sure people are treated humanely. He wants people, after they've paid their debt, to reform how they are as human beings. Those are all good qualities, but they're unusual. I don't want to say people in law enforcement are empathetic, but maybe not as empathetic and as compassionate as Mark is. And that was no publicity stunt. He did that because he thought that was the right thing to do. He wanted to see how prisoners were being treated in his jail. And if there were reforms that needed to be made, he'd make them.
I think a lot he learned that our jail is a really well-run jail, that the ministry that they do there, the faith-based ministry, really works. And, with money being cut all these days for all these programs, when you get people volunteering to help, what could be better than that? To have people who want to give to others. And I think a lot of people have since then joined the faith-based ministry at the jail because of what Mark did and what he does.
I felt the need to spend time in jail, a week in jail, and I didn't know why at the time, to be honest with you. I just felt called that was something that I needed to do as sheriff. And I articulated 4 major reasons when I went into the media, both local and national media that were there. And one of the reasons was that I wanted to honor the people that work in our jail, that come in and love these inmates. We've had up to 500 volunteers at one point or another. We have a beautiful jail in Lake County. I wanted to bring attention to it. We have excellent officers. We have phenomenal volunteers. We do a great job, and I hoped that this would bring the spotlight on what we are doing in Lake County, and it did.
One of the reporters at his press conference after that asked him, so why did you spend a week in jail? Why don't you just call us and have a press conference and tell us about it? He said, you wouldn't have come. I had to do something dramatic to get you to come to understand the programs we're trying to put through this jail and how they've affected their being.
And the feedback was tremendous, both local media and national. We're very impressed with Lake County Jail. I wanted to bring about reform in Illinois Department of Corrections. I felt as though we'd done everything that we could do, but nobody was listening. I had people, media, coming from all over to hear my story at this point in time, and I had the floor. So I was able to speak on these issues to audiences that I never would have had the opportunity to, but for the fact that I'm behind bars.
And I thought, boy, there's a guy that's awfully smart, that knows that he's got to pay the price to get people aware of what needs to be done and what's being done to help people. And that's Mark Curran, inside and out. I think his whole role in life is to see what he can do to help people.
We want second chances. We want society to change its attitude. Instead of branding somebody with a modern-day scarlet letter, convicted felon, ex-con, it's where society slams doors arbitrarily without, hearing their story. It is horrible, and we can't continue to go in this direction because we'll be writing off so much of the workforce, of which there's so much talent and so much hope.
I think that it was a soul searching for him, and I think he discovered a lot of stuff. He went to every single pod that they got. So he was in every area. He talked to the guys. He ate that food, and he experienced that. I think he came out a much better person from that.